Do they not know, like, when she was gone, it went back to the year before she was in the league?
This is former NBA star Gilbert Arenas, and that was just the start of the urgent warning he issued to Caitlin Clark's haters in the WNBA. And they need to listen up. Because while Caitlin Clark is pulling historic ratings, record crowds, and billion-dollar attention into the W whenever she's on the court, the players could be about to tear it all down.
We got a proposal from the league, which was honestly a slap in the face.
Right now, WNBA players are in the biggest negotiation of their careers, the new collective bargaining agreement. And they're coming in hot, airing out their grievances publicly and preparing for battle. But what we're really witnessing is possibly the biggest miscalculation in sports history. The players don't realize the trap they're walking straight into that could undo everything Caitlin Clark has created for them. But while they can't see it, Caitlin Clark fans and analysts are calling it out. It's getting to the point where, for this and a lot of other reasons I'll break down, people are practically begging Caitlin Clark to start her own league. At the beginning of the season, that would have been easy to shrug off. But now, based on what we've seen this season, there's real reason to believe Caitlin's going to do something. In fact, she may have to. Let's get into what Gilbert Arenas just said, and the recent developments that might force Caitlin to make some big moves. Stick with me until the end, and let me know if you think my prediction is right or wrong. But first, like this video and drop a checkmark in the comments if you think Caitlin should start her own league. So let's rewind to a clip that turned out to be a prophecy.
Because I'm hearing like, yeah, they don't give us, if y'all don't give us what we want, like, we said no.
That's a possibility, for real.
Yeah.
This was Angel Reese and Dejanay Carrington talking tough about CBA negotiations before the season tipped off. And they got absolutely cooked for it. Not because people thought WNBA players shouldn't get paid. Like it or not, they're getting a raise. I mean, you can't have a league where Caitlin Clark makes less than the car wash manager at Buc-ee's. What stunned people was the tone, the arrogance, the complete lack of awareness that they're not the ones holding the leverage. That leverage belongs to one person, Caitlin Clark. And I'll spare you the spreadsheets. This clip says it all.
When she came into the league, obviously interest went way up and some of the finances went way up, but there was some argument that it was a little bit of, a rising tide lifts all boats. But here we go with Caitlin Clark, singularly, being missing for the time she was gone, and ratings tanking. 50% in some cases. And then also she comes back and reminds everyone how spectacular she is. And everybody's talking about the WNBA. So if you needed to sort of have it affirmed to you that it is just her, that the singularity of her is what we are talking about and her star power, you got it.
It's really simple. When Caitlin Clark plays, ratings skyrocket. When she's out, they tank. It's not a debate anymore. The numbers don't lie. But here's what's wild. While Caitlin continues to drive all the momentum, the players have gotten even more aggressive. The pettiness and jealousy has reached new levels. And for a lot of fans, even some voices in the media, we just had the last straw, the all-star voting.
9th best guard in the league. Don't try to give me the excuses of, well, she's been struggling lately, or she missed some games with injury. Come on, this is insanity. And I think it's an activist vote by the women of the WNBA who simply cannot stand her success. It's so dumb and it's so childish.
Caitlin led all players in fan votes in record numbers. But the players voted her not just outside the top 4, they voted her the 9th best guard, not player, guard. This is the same player who finished 4th in MVP voting last year, and her stats this season aren't far off, even with all the injuries she's been dealing with. And let's be real, they sure don't defend her like she's 9th best. She gets double teamed the moment she crosses half court. She is the scouting report. And here's why all of this and what Gilbert's about to say matters. Every shot at Caitlin pushes her fans away. And when you push those fans away, you don't just lose viewers, you lose the chance to turn them into long-term WNBA supporters. At this point, a huge chunk of Caitlin Clark's fan base doesn't just feel alienated. They're actively rooting against the league. They want her to walk away, start her own league, and leave the WNBA in the dust. They celebrate when the ratings drop. It's an us versus them mentality. And the WNBA helped create it. Now add this to the mix, a looming player strike. If that happens, those new fans are gone, instantly, and probably for good, and the players leading the charge in negotiations might just have the biggest conflict of interest imaginable.
Let me make sure I'm understanding this correctly. The owner of a competing basketball league is negotiating the salaries of players who are playing in the league they're competing against? But KC, Unrivaled isn't competing with the WNBA. Unrivaled was launched so WNBA players had the opportunity to make six-figure salaries that they could never earn in the WNBA. I'm pretty sure That is the definition of conflict of interest.
Two key players in the WNBA's collective bargaining negotiations, Breanna Stewart and Nafisa Collier, also own Unrivaled, a separate league with outside investors, a national TV deal, and most of the WNBA's top talent and young stars already signed on. So while they're sitting at the table representing WNBA players, they have a backup league that could replace the WNBA entirely. It all adds up to another reason for new fans to distrust the W, and while they love Caitlyn, her fans are at some point going to lose interest in a league that doesn't value her. And that brings us back to Gilbert Arenas. Because with all of this going on, the jealousy, the CBA posturing, and the conflicts of interest, he dropped the truth the W needs to hear.
Just enjoy and go on with it.
Yeah.
Like, think about what they was getting paid before they said, Jordan, you're the guy. What do you think Magic and Bird and all them making? Do you know how much Charles Barkley was making his rookie year before the TV deals that Jordan brung in? If you're making $40,000, every 5 months, and now you're making 80, then just do your job.
And vote for the person who got you there. Yeah, that's weird to me.
Gilbert has a lot more to say, but I'm going to pause here, because this is the thing that blows people's minds. The WNBA has the female Michael Jordan on its hands. She's bringing in record-shattering ratings, selling out arenas, and dragging the league into a new tier of TV money. That new media rights deal? It's reportedly worth $270 million a year. That's nearly $3 billion over the life of the contract. This is the reason they're renegotiating the CBA early. Yet the pettiness continues. It's insane. And Gilbert makes a great point about their total lack of perspective.
She eat, y'all eat.
Clean up. Let me clean up. I got y'all.
This is what you wanted. This is what you needed, that we're not watching you for your talent. Someone came in that everybody wants to watch, kids, everybody. Now we can see your talent.
This isn't rocket science, but yet the players don't seem to get it. Caitlyn's spotlight doesn't just shine on her, it shines on everyone. Just look at the Fever. Even when Caitlyn's not in the lineup, their games are still drawing over 1 million viewers, more than double what most other teams get. I'll get into why in a moment. And that line Gilbert dropped, when she eats, you all eat. It's not the first time a former basketball star has made some sense.
I think we have to understand that when one player eats, we all eat. And as we all get more opportunities, it just opens it up for everyone else. And I think Caitlyn has said that even herself in certain interviews. And I love that. I love that she's not the player who's like, it's all about her. It's not. She's giving love and homage to those of us that have come before her. She shares the wealth with her teammates, and she doesn't have to do that. So I just don't, again, I don't know what the big deal is about the fact that Caitlyn is getting a lot of love. She deserves that, and she's helped change this game just as a lot of other players have.
But here's what Gilbert said that might be the biggest misstep in all of this. The players' single worst miscalculation. They thought they could go at Caitlyn Clark without consequence. That they could throw shade, downplay her success, and complain about her fans, and it wouldn't come back to bite them. But they forgot one crucial thing.
So if you're sitting there beating it up and doing all this, all y'all become is hated. Like, have y'all not paid attention? No one is caring about anything else. You want to beat on it, they're going to hate on it. You want to talk shit, they're going to hate on it. Like, there comes a point where reality has to kick in. You can keep fighting the fight, and you're going to be the odd person that looks bad.
That's it right there. Instead of creating a welcoming environment that invited Caitlyn Clark fans to become WNBA fans, they did the exact opposite. They let their jealousy get the best of them, and in the process, alienated the very people who were ready to invest in the league's future. By continuously throwing shade at Caitlyn, they became hated by her fans. Meanwhile, the Fever took the opposite approach. Their Now You Know campaign sent one simple message. Our fans don't need permission. They don't need to be corrected, converted, or told how to cheer. They're already showing up, and we're glad to have them. And that mindset worked. Even with Caitlyn out of the lineup, Fever games continue to crush every other team in viewership. For all their missteps this season, and there's plenty to pick at, they've done one thing right. They've embraced their fans. The league hasn't. And now there's an us versus them mentality that's taken over, not just between Fever fans and other teams, but between Caitlyn Clark fans and the league itself. And that's where the players are walking into a massive trap with their CBA approach. They think they'll get all the casual fans back when really they're going to bail. And that has led to this.
I never remember this being true before, but I think it is true for her. Never been true in team sports. The WNBA needs Caitlyn Clark more than Caitlyn Clark needs the WNBA. If the league will not protect her and allow her to play basketball at the highest level, then she should leave and start a brand new league. Heck, I would invest in it. If you told me right now, hey, Clay, you can invest in Caitlin Clark or you can invest in the WNBA without Caitlin Clark, I would invest in Caitlin Clark's new league. I just would.
At one point, it would have seemed crazy to think Caitlin would walk from the WNBA. Every move she's made has prioritized the WNBA. That's why she turned down the NBA All-Star Game 3-point challenge. She wants her first 3-point contest to be in Indy at the WNBA All-Star Game. That's also why she passed on playing in Unrivaled, despite $1 million payday. She wants 5-on-5. She wants real competition. She wants history. This is about legacy. But here's the thing. The tide might be turning. Here's why.
I started talking to the officials in the first quarter, and we knew this was going to happen. You could tell it was going to happen. So they got to get control of it. They got to be better. They got to be better.
Can you specifically detail what you mean by get control of the game, just to be in your words?
Get control of the game is call the fouls that are actually happening on the floor. Right, and consistently call the fouls that are actually happening on the floor.
If you watch closely during that clip, when Fever head coach Stephanie White is unloading on the refs, you can see it in Caitlin's face. The nodding, the body language, the expression. She's not just listening, she's agreeing. And not passively. Between the hard fouls, the missed calls, and the lack of protection from the league, it's obvious she's fed up. And this wasn't a one-off. This was after a game where she got body checked and swiped at with no real consequences. And it's no secret anymore. This isn't just about one play or one game. It's a league-wide issue. In fact, just listen to how coaches around the WNBA are now approaching games because of it.
And one coach told me, we tell our players to be as physical as they can possibly be for 40 minutes because we know for 38 of them, they're pretty much going to get away with it. So I think everybody would like to see a tighter whistle and a little bit more freedom of movement.
Now, I bring this up in the context of a potential new league for this reason. The officiating issue isn't just frustrating anymore, it's dangerous. You've got coaches openly telling their players to be as physical as possible because the refs won't call it. That's not basketball. That's a liability. And the league still hasn't done a thing to fix it. For Caitlin, this puts her entire trajectory at risk. So far, her injuries have been minor, but a torn ACL or some other major injury stemming from players getting too rough or taking too many liberties would destroy her career. All the attention, all the new fans, the sponsors, the primetime coverage, none of it survives if Caitlin doesn't play. The W keeps advertising a physical game as the reason to watch. But if you listen to Caitlin, it's clear she values skill over physicality and beef when it comes to growing the game.
It's been in the news a lot recently that the NBA ratings are down. Should we brainstorm a few ideas to bring back ratings into the NBA? What do you think?
I've been asking a lot of people about this and why they think they're down. I would say, honestly, I feel like the average just basketball fan doesn't understand how good NBA players are, and they think it looks like they're not trying. I promise you they're trying. They're just so good. Maybe people want more beef and physicality, and people think it's gotten soft, but I think that's also because the skill has just changed.
When it comes to the W, people want to watch Caitlin's skill, not eye pokes and body checks. And you'd have to think a league that prioritizes skill and showmanship would do better in the ratings, as long as Caitlin is there. Gilbert once again nails it.
It was something I studied when I was playing. What makes this 25 points a game
that should be your
better than this 25 points a game? It's the same 25.
That should be your slogan.
How is
It's not the same 25. That should be your slogan.
How was he a super mega star and this guy is nobody and they're averaging the same? So I had to ask, hey, what makes him more appealing? And the owner, our owner, after a game, he pointed and he said, look at him. He said, look at him during the game.
Yep.
Waving, shaking hands, eating popcorn. This is entertainment.
Right. Yeah.
And he's entertaining.
So when you add it all up, you have to wonder, if the league won't protect her and the players continue to undermine her, she may have no choice but to find a new path. One where she's no longer relying on a system that clearly doesn't value what she brings. And here's the part the league should be worried about. Caitlin doesn't need to wait. She has the kind of influence, platform, and leverage right now to force change immediately. Here's what I think she could do. It's obvious she has the gravity to help create a competing league. But let's be real. I don't think she builds something from scratch. For the same reason a long injury would hurt her brand, I don't see how she could build a direct competitor and play in the WNBA at the same time. There's no way to hide that kind of involvement. And if she tried to straddle both, she'd probably have to leave and play overseas while it's built. And as much as we'd like to think her star power in the US would continue if she played overseas, I think once she's out of sight, she'll be out of mind for many, which would diminish the impact of her league once it starts. The simplest move Caitlyn could make right now would be to threaten to join Unrivaled as an owner and turn it into a 5-on-5 league if the W doesn't fix its officiating issues and prioritize player safety. Because the second she plays, everything shifts. Ratings skyrocket, sponsors follow. Big networks, like possibly Fox Sports, would want a piece, and meanwhile, the WNBA's numbers collapse without her. And you can bet the moment it's revealed Caitlyn is contemplating ownership in Unrivaled, Adam Silver gets involved, because the NBA has invested way too much in the WNBA to lose its biggest star over blown whistles and unchecked physicality. Jealousy? The league can't fix that. But dangerous play on the court? That can be fixed, and should have been a long time ago. To me, this is the easiest power move Caitlyn can make within the rules the league itself has allowed. If Fee and Stewie can negotiate on behalf of the players while owning a rival league, there's no reason Caitlyn can't use that same structure and turn it into real leverage without compromising her brand, bank account, or legacy. Let me know what you think of this proposal in the comments. I'd love to hear your take. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.